Throw a slack, you fucking moron!
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas, everybody! Welcome back to Screen Share, a movie podcast about learning how to harness the thunder. I'm Adam.
Oh, interesting. I'm Calder.
So, we're back. This is the final entry in our Avatar franchise focus, at least for now. Maybe if James Cameron decides that people liked this enough to make the next couple, then maybe we'll do those as well. But as of right now, this is the last in this little series. This is for Avatar Fire and Ash, which Calder and I saw, the
20th, so 4 days ago.
Yeah.
I think they will make another. I was doing some research. Seems like the break even is 600 million. And it's already made 400.
Yeah.
Most of that obviously overseas, like 75% of that is international.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
these movies do very well everywhere for the most part, which I think is a big part of its success. And also, they're like really trying to push people to go see this movie not only once but multiple times.
Well, that was a big thing with Way of Water, I think. A lot of people saw it a couple times. Yeah. And honestly, part of me feels like I should see it again. So if I do, I'll talk a bit about it in our opening of a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, because I've also thought about seeing it again, because with The Way of Water, I saw it, loved it, and then went and saw it again and was like, it's still good, but it felt like the tiniest bit from the first time. This one, I feel like a second viewing, it would be better. The issue is, and we'll obviously get into the issues with this movie, but this movie, the length is felt a lot more in Fire and Ash than in the other two, at least to me.
Yeah.
So I think that's what's kind of been preventing me from committing to a second viewing, but I've still thought about it. Because there's great things in the movie. It just the feeling immediately after coming out of the theater was not the most positive from any of us.
Yeah, I think we went with a bit of a group, and we were all pretty tepid on it.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of interesting stuff but there's like so much stuff in there that it's hard to kind of untangle the first time watching it.
Yeah.
Especially when I think most of us were going and expecting something else, expecting more of a exploration and extension of the Na'vi cultures, when it was more, I guess, slightly more traditional in terms of the kind of movie it was. But I have a couple things to say before we get deep into it.
Yeah.
Number one. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Have you heard of the show I Love L.A.?
No. I've heard that.
The Rachel Sennett show?
Yeah.
Pretty much watched all of it. It's fine. It's
oh, great.
Just letting people know. It's one of these like
great.
It's one of these like comedies, but it's not really like it's more of a dramedy. It's kind of like a Dave with the Little Dicky show.
Oh, okay.
Worse than sort of like a similar thing to Atlanta, where it's not like laugh out loud funny. Atlanta is, I think, a much better show from what I've seen,
but more of like it's funny in its moments.
Yeah, and it's also like the characters are like a little grating because there's like social media influencers. Rachel Sennett is a talent agent in LA, and whatever age she is, like 28 or whatever. And she kind of sucks. Her best friend is an influencer played by Odessa Zion, I believe. People have been freaking out about her. She's in the Supreme Martin.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker's daughter is playing a Nepo baby whose dad is Keith David, which I kind of like that. That was fun.
Interesting.
And then there's like Josh Hutcherson is her boyfriend, who's kind of the most likable character because he's like just a teacher.
Well, also,
and he's also
Josh
really
Hutcherson
good.
is just a really charismatic, likable guy. I'm big on the Josh, and I've been, but I love Josh Hutcherson. He seems like a genuinely chill guy.
I think he was kind of lost after Hunger Games, I think, for a bit, because I think the idea was that he's supposed to be a movie star when that's not really what he's supposed to do. Like, I think Five Nights at Freddy's is kind of the perfect movie for him to be in.
Well, also he did Future Man, which is another TV show, which I have not seen, but my brother has raved about being very good.
That
and
seems
I know
like a very
people
Matt
liked.
show.
Yeah.
Seth
You hear
Rogen.
that, brother?
Oh, well, clipping there.
I just called him Bother. So that's good.
Yeah, the show's enjoyable. Some slight HBO things where, like, the first scene, immediately there's nudity, and I was like, guys, let's relax.
Yeah.
Like, it opens
I
with
do
her
also
getting
feel like
banged
a show
by Josh.
about not only LA, but about people in the Hollywood scene in LA and like the media entertainment world in LA. Like, I feel like I know what that's going to be like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty meat and potatoes. I got the Vince Staples show on my list of watches next.
I saw his Z-Way interview and it was excellent.
I mean, I just like any time he's in an interview.
Yeah.
He's one of the more charismatic and originally funny people.
And insightful, but in like a very dry yet extreme way, which is very funny. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, just giving people, lay of the land.
Sure.
I love LA. You might not be into it, but it's all right.
Yeah. Lots of crossover between people who love Avatar and people who would love that show.
Yeah, usually they. Yeah. Another thing, last thing to touch on. I didn't have too much going on this week, honestly.
Sure.
I think we should talk a bit about the trailer situation before Avatar.
Just there were a few things to highlight.
Yeah.
First of all, I went pee for the first half of the previews, which I kind of timed it perfectly because there's the previews and then there's when the lights go down and then there's a couple key previews and then the movie starts. I went and came back, I think maybe like 30 seconds after I sat down, the lights went down, so it was kind of perfect timing. So I missed.
What was the first one you saw? Was it that Tom Cruise, The Digger?
No, I don't think I saw.
I think you missed that then.
I think literally the only ones I saw while the lights were down were Odyssey,
and Doomsday.
Maybe there was one more I'm forgetting, but those are the main two to highlight for sure.
I think those are the two main ones. Like, there were a couple other, like The Digger is this new Tom Cruise movie by Alejandro Inarritu. Probably him just trying to get an Oscar next year or something.
Interesting.
We'll see if it's good, but the trailer didn't really give away anything. The two main ones are, we'll start with Doomsday because it's pretty simple. Basically, the trailer announcing Steve Rogers will come back because of some sort of thing in Endgame where, because he went back in time, it seems like Doctor Doom has become, like, that made Doctor Doom happen.
Oh, okay.
Or, yeah. Like, I think that's the fan theory.
Oh, like, because they explained that when you change something in the past,
ripples.
It doesn't change the future. It just creates a new one.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess that kind of makes sense that he goes back, gets with Peggy. That creates a new timeline.
And that's the
in
universe
that timeline
that we're living in.
Tony Stark turns into Doctor Doom. Victor Von.
Or it's like, I think in that timeline, in another, like, maybe, I don't know. It's stupid. It doesn't
they'll
make
explain
much sense.
some fucky bullshit. Here, let's get to the brass tacks of it, which we talked about a bit at the end of last episode, I think. They're doing so much that they're doing nothing. That's really how I feel about it.
And we talked about how the cast is massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they keep adding to it is the crazy thing. It is a situation where on one hand, I'm like, it is probably one of the biggest movies to come out in the next year or two, so we should probably cover it. On the other hand, I'm like, I don't really want to see that in theaters, because I'm not one to wish ill.
If we do only the most recent era of Marvel, starting from like whatever to Doomsday, maybe. But I'm also like, I don't want to do any of those movies. It's like handcuffing yourself to a sinking ship.
Yeah, it's like putting us in that torture device that the humans put Spider in, where it's like, stop. You know,
it's kind of funny though.
Anyway, I like literally could not care less about about Doomsday, especially like the theater was fucking silent during that.
Yeah,
nobody and here's the thing, it's people seeing Avatar. Like, I joked about there being crossover between Avatar fans and I Love LA fans. There's actually crossover between people who want to see Avatar and people who want to see Doomsday, and nobody, not a clap was had, not even a single clap was had. They're doing this whole like slow piano Avengers theme. Steve Rogers will return in pause Avengers Doomsday, and it's like everyone's just sitting there like,
can we watch Avatar?
We knew what that was going to come on screen the moment that we saw Steve Rogers there.
Yeah.
So like acting like it's this big, I'm like, no, I don't know.
I think it also doesn't help that it came after the Odyssey clip. Basically, it wasn't really a trailer. Yeah. Which was just riveting. I mean, fantastic. Like,
genuinely incredible. I almost had a panic attack in the theater because of just how tense the scene was, but also the music was like, that feels like it was like forged in a lab to give people panic attacks, because it was just like so overwhelming, like so like edge of your seat, like it was incredible.
That's easily my most hyped up movie I'm getting ready for next year.
Well, can I be honest? I was like, I'll probably see it and it seems interesting, and then like halfway through that trailer, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm actually gonna like this, because I was like, it was so much, and then by the end of it, I was like, that was genuinely, I know it was more of a scene than a trailer. Christopher Nolan likes to do that, but like genuinely the best trailer I've ever seen, probably. And then we saw Avatar,
which. Anyway, I think the Odyssey, to wrap up the Odyssey, and then we can get into Avatar stuff. It's one of those movies that like you probably should or need to see in the theater.
Yes.
Like, there are a lot of movies where it's
and
like,
preferably in IMAX.
Yeah, but there's a bunch of movies where it's like, you can go to the theater, but like you'll be fine if you don't.
Yeah.
Avatar, I think, is one of those movies where you probably should. The Odyssey is one you probably should.
Yeah. Doomsday
is looking more like a Disney Plus streamer to me.
Yep, same.
But yeah, that was just incredible, and it proves to you why like Nolan is on a completely different level from anyone else. And I don't remember him doing that with Oppenheimer. I know he did it with Tenet.
He did it with Tenet. He didn't. I don't think he did it with Oppenheimer.
I think I might have just not seen whatever the biggest movie was at that Christmas. I meant to research this earlier. So it was released 2023, so Christmas 2022. Do you remember what was in the theaters then?
No. Excuse me.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
That's surprising. Yeah, it doesn't look like there was anything. Oh, I guess Way of Water. Yeah. Way of Water came out then. Jesus.
Dude, it's crazy that Way of Water came out 3 years ago. Olivia was talking about that. She's like, there's no way that it came out 3 years ago. It's like, yeah. Doesn't feel like that long ago, though.
Yeah, I don't remember it playing any Oppenheimer stuff playing before Way of Water, but I might have just blocked it out.
I think I'm sure there was a trailer, but I think it was just a more traditional trailer. I don't think he did the extended scene.
You know what? It probably played before The Fabelmans. Yeah, that one didn't really land with you, huh?
Anyway, can I be honest? It just took my brain a few seconds to remember what the Fabelmans.
It's actually really good. You should.
Oh, I know. I just, it's one of those movies that's like in the kind of award circuit for like its year, so like it's top of mind, and then a few years goes by, and you're like, oh yeah. You know what I had that with recently? Do you remember Nick Crompton?
Oh,
London is my city. Yeah. I just remembered that guy, and I was like, holy shit.
I thought you were talking about like Oscar stuff, and I was like, how is
no,
he related?
I'm just saying, like, that was a similar situation of just like having this thing where I was like, there were a few years where I was like, Nick Crompton was not only top of mind, but he was like, he was like a classic reference.
2014, 16, something like that.
Yeah, and then I was like, I haven't thought about or even remembered that Nick Crompton existed for 10 years, probably.
I find it so funny that people are starting to do but guys, actually 2016 was like the best time ever.
It's like, no, it wasn't. 2016 was notoriously a horrible year.
Yeah.
It was a great year on the internet, though. That was like, I do think 2016 was like,
was that the PewDiePie
meme year?
Team, something team?
That wasn't like the T-Series year, but that was when PewDiePie was like big on meme, like he was doing meme review as a series. So that was like elevating memes. Also Reddit, I think, was at the peak of like churning out memes. It was literally like there'd be like 12 like hot memes a month. I feel crazy having that come out of my mouth. But 2016 was a bad year. It was a good year on the internet, though.
It's just people being like, life was so much better when I was a teenager. And I'm like, yeah, everyone's life was better when they were a teenager, man. Yeah. Anyway. But we didn't have a fucking Avatar movie. And now we have an Avatar movie.
That's true.
So maybe shut the hell up and appreciate what you have now. Because Avatar Fire and Ash is... I don't know if it's... came out of it pretty down.
I think well, here's the thing. I think we went with 6 people total. I think you and I were the only ones who wanted to watch it. Yeah. I don't think anybody else really gave a shit or even really wanted to watch it. They were mostly there for us.
Matt for sure did.
Because
we were talking about it before, and he was like, yeah, there's some stuff I'm interested in. I think it didn't hit the kind of Q zone that he wanted or was looking for, which I think made him sort of disappointed. But if it did hit that Q zone, I think he would have been over the moon.
Yeah, but I think, because I talked to him like a week before, and he was like, I didn't love the first Avatar, and he was like, the second one had a lot of fun stuff that I enjoyed, so like I'm excited to see where they go, but you and I were, we're obviously off the high of watching and reviewing the last 2 movies. Yeah. So we're kind of in a Avatar mindset. So I think we were like really excited because we've been really thinking about it. And then I think we left kind of just being like, oh, I was hoping for a little more from that. Olivia, I think we had some expectations.
Yeah, I could tell. She took the IMAX glasses off, which
she kept taking them off. Yeah,
every
time I looked at her, she was doing some sort of version of like leaning back, hand over her face. A lot of like, she was getting upset with the character's decisions. She was really feeling the length. She went to the bathroom and like checked the time, thinking it was maybe like halfway, 3/4 through, and we were about 40 minutes into a 3-hour, 20-minute movie. So I think she really felt the length, and also like I just don't think it's really her kind of movie. I don't know how Hillary and Sid felt about it.
I think Hillary enjoyed it enough, and yeah, that's kind of how she interfaces with movies.
Yeah, that was fine. Well, literally, we were in the car breaking it down, you, me, and Olivia, and Hillary was like, "Can't you guys just watch a fucking movie?" Like she was like, why are you guys thinking about it so hard? It's like, unfortunately, that's kind of what
how we work,
what we
big
do.
dog.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah, we left kind of. I don't think we hated it. I think we were just kind of middling on it. Given some time to think about it, I think there's a lot that I liked, but I do think that it missed. What I kind of told you is it felt kind of like it felt a little bit like I feel about, I'm always bringing up Star Wars, but it felt like how I think about Star Wars sometimes, where it's like I don't always think that the people making Star Wars know what people like about Star Wars. I actually, here's another analogy just to bring something up that maybe I should have brought up in the first bit. The trailer for Survivor season 50 came out, which is like 25-year celebration, season 50, big celebration. It's the first season with returning players in like 5 years. It's been like so long. Everybody's really excited.
I saw a little bit of about this from Wentworth. Is that a former Survivor player?
Yes, Kelly Wentworth.
Yeah.
Legend. Yeah. So it's like this big thing. They call it the season in the hands of the fans because they have some shit that fans voted on. It's like meaningless shit like tribe colors and stuff like that. But they call it in the hands of the fans. And what do? They are having...
They got the Diddy hidden immunity idol or something?
They got the Billie Eilish boomerang idol, whatever the fuck that means. They've got Zach Brown is going to come to
like
the island.
Zach Brown band?
Yeah.
Of the band?
Yep.
There's a Mr. Beast case too, right?
Yeah. Mr. Beast shows up and goes, I have a briefcase. That's my
Wait, you have to do his dead in the...
Is that good?
Yeah, it's crazy how big his veneers are.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, they bring fucking Mr. Beast on. There's a point where my favorite Survivor player of all time, Christian Hubicki, I'm like so excited to have him on my screen again. And he goes, Jimmy Fallon might decide my fate in this game. Why is Jimmy Fallon deciding Christian Hubicki's fate in the game of Survivor on season 50? Good God.
Oh, I recognize Christian.
Yeah, he was on David vs. Goliath, season 37.
He's so old. 40 years old. Yuck. Are we getting some info about Survivor 50?
No, Olivia's just shaking her head going, always screaming about Survivor 50. I'm like, anyway, but I bring this up in regards to Avatar because I feel similarly that like that's an example of the creators not knowing what fans actually want and what is good about the show. Like,
you don't think having Jimmy Beast Donaldson on there is
his last name Donaldson?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And his
not that crazy.
Real middle name is Beast.
Really?
No.
That would be... I would not be surprised if he changed it to Beast. Just anyway.
Like Rob Mack?
But like, it's the thing with Survivor where it's like fans just want returning legends, and they want like as close to a classic bare bones game of Survivor as possible. And they're like, what if we brought Mr. Beast in? And it's like, that is the furthest thing from what fans want. Similarly to like Avatar, I kind of felt like everything that I loved about the first two movies was, like you said, world building, learning new cultures, learning new like traditions, like seeing different areas of Pandora, like all this shit. And it was a bit promising at the beginning where we were getting like the air traders, we got the like fucking fire and ash people. Like it felt like we were kind of like the things were looking that way. And then it kind of just turned into a lot of guns is kind of the main thing that I thought. Like, it felt similar to a Harry Potter or a
late-stage Harry Potter thing. Right?
Yeah, where it's like
they're just...
Yeah, instead of... Like, the first two movies are, like, so magical. That's the Chris Columbus in them. Yeah, they say the spells. It's a very warm tone. Like it feels like the focus is on making the magic essence of the movie like come through. Then with like Hunger Games, the first couple movies, it feels like you're really expanding this world. You're like like getting deeper into the capital, but like it's kind of in contrast to what you've seen from District 11, all this thing. Like it feels like it's expanding. It's like building out the tradition of the Hunger Games, and then it goes, and now we're in a bunker and we got a bunch of assault rifles. And it's like, it feels like, unfortunately, this franchise is also headed that way because there's a lot of guns in this movie. There's a point where Jake is kidnapped and goes to a city, the city that humans are building, which, like, no problem with that city existing, but like there's a bunch of people pulling out their fucking phones. There's like big floodlights. It's just
okay. I'm going to say one thing, and then I'll kind of ground us at the beginning.
Sure.
Just about the Jake thing. Yeah. I think there's something interesting there, because that is the first real time we've gotten general human population sentiment about the Na'vi and Jake.
That's true.
And I think it's a bit of a, not the right phrase, but it's like a bit of a culture shock because we're so trained to love the Na'vi and Jake and hate the humans that it's hard for us to be like, oh, they see him as like a domestic terrorist and a traitor to an entire planet and an entire civilization.
Yeah. I
think that's a really interesting idea. Is that the best way to do that? No. And I think it's kind of I think the idea is that it's going to be expanded in the next movies.
Yeah.
Over time, because I think there's a little more Earth related, like not actually on Earth, but like human related stuff in the next ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that section is just a little, it needs a little more. Like it felt like there were 100 things in this movie where I just needed like a little tiny dash more of. Whether it's like Varang, whether it's like a little bit of like human sentiment stuff, whether it's like Loak's story, Kiri, less Spider. Well, that's the thing. I need Spider, but everyone else
Spider, certainly. I feel like I agree with you. There's a lot of things that I kind of just want more of, but I don't mean like more like time wise, because like using the Jake captive in the city put on display in this cage, like as an example. Like, I want more from that in the sense that, like, I want to explore, like, that idea more. Like, these people watching him, like, seeing him as this villain. I'd love to see, like, maybe show us some of the propaganda that has convinced people that he's so bad. Like, I don't know. Like, it feels like there can be more done, but it also feels like they spent too much time on it at the same time. Like,
I think it's just because there's 500 semi-useless things. Like, everything with Neytiri and Jake in the human city I was into and I liked.
Yeah.
But then there's the spider thing running through it. And honestly, he is like in my opinion, the Achilles heel of this franchise.
Yeah.
He's like the weakest point. And it's not even necessarily like, I'm not trying to blame the actor or anything. I think it's a tough character to nail. And then his performance, I think he was like 12 when they were filming this. So it's like his performance is that of a 12-year-old, which is not the most nuanced, when this is like a very nuanced and interesting sort of thing that I think another actor, another like more well-trained, probably older actor could nail even better. Because even when they're doing the like Jake is gonna take him out back and shoot him thing, like at no point was I feeling worried for Spider. No. I was more emotionally attached to Jake, and then I was kind of like, well, yeah, shut this little fucker up. Well, then they did a fucking fake out where
he stabs, and there's literally a flesh puncture sound effect, and then it turns out he didn't even like cut a dreadlock off or something like that. He literally just stabbed air, and they did it. But like, yeah, during that, there was never a point where I was like, no, don't kill Spider, no.
I was like, it probably makes sense to kill the kid.
Yeah, and a part of me wanted them to, because I was like, that would be very interesting, and then I don't have to see Spider anymore. But like, Yeah, I agree that I was more invested in Jake's, like how Jake's feelings about it, how it would affect him and Natiri and the kids. But like the spider thing, I think just kind of highlights a main issue I have with the movie, is that I listened back to our Way of Water episode, and almost any time we said we were excited to see where something went in Fire and Ash, I immediately thought, well, that we didn't see that.
Yeah.
Like, we wanted to see more Loak. We wanted to see more of a focus on Loak. Does not really happen in this movie. He's actually like fully out of the story, out of the picture for like a large chunk of the middle of the movie.
Even though he's the narrator, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And then Kiri does have a bigger part, and we do explore more of that. But like, she doesn't like have much content. She kind of just like keeps connecting to Pandora with her fucking hair in some way, and then seizing out, and then going like, she kind of just has the same kind of thing happen over and over in this movie.
It's kind of like we need something to help us get out of the situation or something, and then she just can magically do it. Yeah. Which then can be fine, and I think there is some interesting stuff with her fighting against Awa to like be able to connect and like see Awa. And
I did like her trying to connect even though she thought she'd die, and then Spider coming in and helping her, and then Took coming in and helping her. Then being able
but here's the thing, like I don't like that Spider is becoming this like hybrid half-breed thing.
Yeah. Like, well, that's the thing I was going to get to, is like, we were excited about Loak, we were excited about Kiri, we were excited like to see
another
like
culture.
Jake had accepted Loak as like a good son at the end of last movie, and then fucking immediately hates him again, maybe more than he ever has at the beginning of this movie. Like, there's just a lot of
really get.
No,
I was kind of like, we kind of figured this out already, right?
Well, I think that's the thing. It feels like a lot. That's so. Two things. It felt like there were a lot of things that Way of Water did where I was like excited to see that where that goes, and then it didn't go anywhere. Then at the same time, it felt like there were a lot of things that Way of Water did that Fire and Ash either just ignored or just did again. So
there was a lot of like relatively similar stuff.
Yeah, like a good example is last episode you were talking about how like we spend so much time on the like learning how they hunt the Tolkun, but like it does, and like get the fucking brain syrup, but it doesn't really go anywhere aside from us just like they show us how they hunt Tolkun so that they can then later show us them hunting Tolkun. But like then they just do that more in this movie. Where in Way of Water there were like 2, maybe 3 scenes of like fucking I hate the guy, Australian fucking ship captain. Now I hoped he'd died, but no, he just got his arm cut off and he has a mechanical arm now, and he's doing the same shit. I think he says let's make some bank for the 15th time in this movie. Anyway, hate that character.
I think his name is Wainfleet.
Sure. If you say so.
Oh, no, that's not it. I don't know.
But, like, in this movie, there's another 2 or 3 scenes of them just hunting Tolkun again. Goresby, sure. That sounds right. Scoresby. Well. But, like, yeah, they just do it again and again, and, like, they take a long time doing it every time. And it's just, like, that's not the only example, but, like, that's the main one where it's, like, you're just retreading. Yeah. You're retreading the Way of Water.
So I think there's like this movie exists in an interesting place because it feels more, I think we're expecting it to be a trilogy ender, but it feels more like a middle movie to a bigger story. Not a lot of things are resolved. There's a lot of things introduced. And there's those things that are introduced aren't fully explored. I think the number one thing is a lot of the other factions. I think we were expecting more exploration of these different cultures.
Yeah.
The Wind Traders, I think we both like them, but they don't really get into them a lot.
And then they get wiped out.
Well, it feels like something that there's more about in 4 or 5. 4 and 5, maybe. I should say. Because, like, they did get, like, they got David Thewlis to play the Wind Captain guy, which is a relatively big actor. And they've also got other people who have been cast with stuff that they've shot and, like, wrapped shooting on, like Michelle Yeoh, who I think there is a lot more planned for 4, but I think this movie was sort of...
It does feel like a bit of a transition movie. There's an idea that this should
be a final movie when it is a middle movie, if that makes sense.
But I think, to be honest, it does feel a little bit like they had more to do after Way of Water before getting to the 4th one, but not enough to, like, make a full 3-hour Avatar movie. So it feels like they kind of just, like, fluffed it up a little bit to, like, make it like more significant. And I feel like some of the fluffing works. I think some of it doesn't. Where, like,
well, like, I think one of the main reasons why we were down on it when we left is because there is a lot of stuff that isn't fully, like, explored. And I think the biggest is Varang, the leader of the Ash people.
Yeah.
We don't get almost anything about the Ash people. We see some of their, like, some of her, I guess, cultural traditions and things that she does and, like, how they operate with, like, some of their rituals. And then, like the drug thing.
Which was great.
There's a little bit of that, but it does feel like it's lost. Now, if there's a 4th movie and it's, like, Varang and Quaritch are the main villains and we get a lot more of the Ash people and, like, that is really more fleshed out, then this movie feels, I think, better.
Yeah.
But right now you're kind of like, I saw this really fucking cool villain, and halfway through she's kind of pushed to the side in favor of Quaritch.
Well, it's literally like as soon as Quaritch comes in, her role, like, shrinks to half.
Yeah. Which in a way does make sense because he is the villain.
Yeah.
Right? But I think is just unsatisfying for a lot of people who are used to, like, a deep exploration of Pandora. And I think that's kind of what we were expecting, is, like, them to go deep into the Ash people and how they work. And I think, honestly, that would have worked better if they explained Quaritch becoming... Because by the end of the movie, Quaritch is...
He's an Ash person, essentially.
Yeah, but we don't really get why or how that happens, aside from the fact
that's
that
the thing.
they, like,
I
fuck
thought
a little
that
bit
was
and
gonna
then he's into it.
I thought that was going to be explored more, because there's a few times where Jake is able to talk to Quaritch, and he's like, why are you still so focused on the mission of a dead guy? You're not that guy, pal. And he's essentially like, you need to open your eyes and, like, really essentially see what I've seen in Pandora, and, like, open yourself up to this world, because it's, like, far more vast than you imagine, and you've seen a little bit, you've connected a little bit, like, there's so much more than even you understand. And I thought that was going to kind of result in, like, whatever the final fight was, Jake appealing to that and being like, dude, you're literally wearing fucking Fire and Ash tribe regalia all over. You're not wearing your military shit. You're not like, and I thought that he was going to appeal to that and be like, you have already started to move away from the Miles Quaritch who hated me, like, and my family. And you're moving towards a Miles Quaritch that is embracing the world of Pandora. I still think you're maybe embracing the wrong parts of it, but, like, you are more Na'vi than you are that guy. That's not what happened. Instead, he was just Spider becomes the focal point, and he's like, "Don't you want to hang with your son?" And it's like, you could fully fucking remove Spider from the story. Like, here's the issue, kind of with this movie and the last movie, but mostly this movie. Spider is such a focal point, like load-bearing wall type character to this story, where like he is like he is a part of like nearly every character's story in some capacity.
With Kiri, with Loak, Natiri, her main like emotional conflict is about Spider, really.
Yeah. But
Jake,
you could remove him completely, tweak a couple tiny little things, and the movie would be just fine without Spider. And I think that's the issue, is like, he's so important, but he does not matter. Like,
I think the idea is that, like, I think they thought the audience needed a sort of window character, which is what Spider would be.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's really needed, because people in general like the Na'vi and Jake and Natiri and everyone so much. Like, I think it's kind of crazy how much people like the Na'vi over the actual humans in the story, which is pretty hard to do. So I think the movies, honestly, Way of Water and this one would be so much better without Spider.
Yeah.
But they're kind of stuck with him at this point.
Well, that's the thing. He's a part of so many characters' stories that he kind of has to be. And that's kind of why I kind of hoped Jake killed him, and then it was like, shit. Like,
I think that's also just more interesting, too, having Quaritch have to, like...
Because then
reigniting a flame between Quaritch and Jake, whereas they were kind of going into this... not really like a stalemate, but they were kind of warm on each other.
They had a excuse me, they had a temporary truce where, like, essentially, and this is like getting into, I think Quaritch is one of the more, I've like not really liked him as a character much in the previous two. I've like he's whatever. In this movie, I found he's one of the more interesting characters.
Yeah.
But there's a point where Quaritch and his bald buddy, like, they have Jake. It's after like all of his family, it's after the air people are basically fully taken down. All the family is separated. Jake can't get in like a hold of any member of his family. As far as he's concerned, they're all either captured or dead. And Quaritch has him and like could either fucking shoot him in the head or take him in. Like, but then he goes, Spider is out there and he doesn't have his oxygen mask. He could die at any moment. And Quaritch is like, okay, let's go get him. And Bald Boy's like, what the hell? But
you know what I just thought of?
What?
Why don't they shave the ponytails, the military guys? Because it's not like it's the hair.
What do you mean?
It is like, you know how they have the ponytails?
Yeah.
It's not the hair that stuff is going into. Like it's like basically like a separate tail in terms of
but the
anatomy.
hair is probably like protecting it or something. Like maybe it's sensitive,
I know, but
if
you're a real dog and you want a buzz cut.
Well, yeah, because bald guy is
there.
bald, but then he just has the ponytail.
Yeah.
Pulling the Prince Zuko on him.
I think basically until the Sullys get back together, the beginning until the Sullys get back together is my favorite part of the movie. Because you get, like, sort of catching up, which, you know, maybe 15 minutes in to when the Sullys get back together, because there is the sort of, like, we got to retread some stuff. Loak goes to see Nateum in the you know,
which
whatever.
I'd love to touch on.
Yeah, we can get into that after. And honestly, the whole AWA universe, I don't know what that's like, the afterlife stuff, but I think there's like a very good section at the beginning Once the Sullys kind of get back together, they just have to force them apart again, which I think gets kind of annoying when it's like you're constantly back together, apart, back together, apart. I think it would have been better if they really like separated them in this story. So it's like Loak has to take care of his siblings and Spider.
But I also wish they separated them in an interesting dynamic. It feels like they're separating them in similar ways to how they've separated them before. Like, I'd love to see Loak and Jake separated together, and then they have to get over their, like, weird dynamic. I wish Neytiri and, like, Spider and Took were together, where it's like, Neytiri doesn't like Spider, and then, like, because Took never has fucking anything to do. And then Took, being the little one, is the one to be like, I don't see Spider any differently, and like that's all. Like, I wish that they separated them in interesting ways, but no, it's like Loak, Kiri, Took are together,
and Spider.
Well, whatever.
I think
Jake
it really would have like. I think the biggest disservice. There's a lot of stuff I can kind of forgive. The biggest disservice in this movie is just the fact that Loak is so sidelined.
Yeah, man.
When he was like the kind of the main character in Way of Water, like with the biggest arc. Or
at the very least, it felt like they were setting him up to be the main character. Like, it felt like Jake was obviously the main character in the first one. Loak and then a little bit Kiri were the main characters in the second one. And then in this one, honestly, I don't feel like there is a main character in this one.
It's Spider.
Ugh.
Everything revolves around Spider, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so we can talk about like the dead universe, dead zone.
Well, just briefly, and this will transition into it. I do want to talk about that first 15 minutes you were talking about. I kind of do feel like this is a problem throughout the movie, but especially in the first 15 minutes, I felt like there was a lot of just like clunky dialogue that felt like it was just saying what needed to be said for the audience to understand what the characters were feeling. Like a lot of explaining, like characters explaining their thoughts instead of just feeling or showing them, which I think did lessen throughout the movie. But I think it is in this movie more than it was in the previous two, which I don't know if that's because they're going faster with production or whether it's just like they have to explain more in this one. I don't know.
Part of me, I don't have anything to back this up, so we're just working on a theory here. But part of me thinks like there was some data in Disney Plus where it's like people aren't rewatching Way of Water too much on the platform, so you probably got to give them a little like teaser, like set them up for where you're going.
Well, I also think that's kind of just an Avatar thing of like starting the movie with like a brief little like catch up.
It makes more sense in Way of Water though. Because there's the time, like they're explaining a time jump. With this one, it's literally like the next week.
It's literally like Loak explaining what happened in the last 10 minutes of the previous movie.
Yeah. And so it starts with, are we good on that? Like I think.
Yeah.
It starts with the Loak and Neteyam flying.
Which
thing.
I thought was a memory. And then it turns out, no, it's Loak can go into the Tree of Souls. It's not the Tree of Souls, but the underwater version.
Yeah.
And connect to Neteyam through Awa and, like, literally hang out with and talk to his dead brother. Which, like, a few problems with, in my opinion. One, we see Loak hanging out with Neteyam and having a great time. And then Neteyam telling Loak, hey, my death wasn't your fault. And then he disconnects, and we have a Loak voiceover where he goes, I lost my brother, and I'm never going to see him again, and his death was my fault. And it's like, brother!
Yeah. Dude. I think Matt pointed this out right after.
Yeah, and it's like, that. What?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You can literally see him anytime, and he said it's not your fault.
And he'll say whatever you want him to say.
Yeah. But then also, this is something that Olivia really, like, was talking about, was like, why is anyone afraid of dying if afterwards you can go into this afterlife and be with Awa and all of the people who have died, and also see your loved ones anytime they want. Like, it's...
And people who you didn't even know, too. Like Spider at the end.
Yeah, when Spider, like, goes there at the end, he's literally talking to, like, fucking Tsute from the first movie.
Yeah.
He doesn't know fucking any of these guys. And Tsute's like, it's good to have you here, brother. And I'm like, Tsute in the first movie, he probably would have been like, who the fuck is this fucking human guy? Like, I don't know. It's just very... I like the idea of it. The issue is anytime you introduce a way for people to directly, anytime they want to, interact with those who have died, it's like that kind of removes a lot of stakes from...
With little, like, there's no consequence to Loak doing that. The only person who there's consequence to is Kiri, who, in a way, needs it more than anyone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of interesting, like her trying to figure out the line there.
Which it seems like at the end she's just able to now. Like, it was just like, fine, I'll stop giving you seizures. Like,
yeah, that just felt messy to me.
It felt like they were trying to, like...
thing.
Two things. One, it felt like they were trying to, like, come up with a satisfying button for the movie. But also, it kind of felt like, especially knowing James Cameron was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to do the other ones. It did feel like a lot of the things that they did at the end of the movie, they did in a way so that it's like, obviously, it's open. Like, there's plenty of things they can do in the next one.
Yeah.
But if they wanted to stop... It's not the worst. Like, everyone kind of has a little bit of a wrap up.
Yeah, I feel like him saying that, I feel like, is bullshit.
Yeah.
And then I think it hurts the movie a little bit and kind of gives it that middle feeling I was talking about, where it's like no real finale for Quaritch or Varang.
Yeah.
Everyone just kind of like there's no real end to any of the arcs.
No.
It's just kind
the
of
threat
like,
is still there. It's just everybody has a little bit of a happy moment at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even like... I don't know. I don't even really want to talk about Spider that much, because I just...
Well, here's the thing. I'm down to just talk about everything else, and Spider will unfortunately creep into each of those conversations.
I guess. Yeah.
So
after the Sullys get back together, Neytiri is... She's been shot. She goes to get healed.
She goes through the fucking ringer in this one.
Yeah. And she's got to do, like, basically, you know, sports medicine rehab after to try and get back into bow shooting shape, which honestly felt a little easy. Like, there are
like she
a fair amount of
easy?
times. Yeah, because it's like there's no real conflict that happens while she's recovering.
Yeah. I mean, you could just explain it away as, like, the Metcaina herbs did really work wonders.
Yeah. But she kind of develops this unspoken rivalry with Varang, which is kind of interesting and pays off a little bit in the end. Which... I don't know. I wish I got more of. I feel
it
like
does
I'm
feel
just
like
gonna
that's
say that
like
about
the
almost
two
everything.
kind of like the unhinged ladies of the franchise. Like, the moment they make eye contact, they're both like, ah!
I should fucking kill you.
Which I really like. And here's the truth: Neytiri's not really had an equal to fight.
Yeah, it's kind of like the John Wick thing.
Yeah, and it kind of felt like, and then she got her shit rocked by Varang. Like, literally gets shot, falls like so far down into the forest, hits a million branches, and is like fucking hanging from vines. Like, I was like, she's dead, man. And she basically is. And then her flying little guy comes and saves her, which I mean, we all kind of talked about this at the end of the movie. The best part of all these movies is almost always consistently Neytiri in every way.
Yeah.
Like, I loved her her arc at the beginning where, not arc, but like her moment at the beginning where Jake is like, come on, talk to me. Like, prayer isn't fucking bringing our son back. We need to, like, because Jake kind of sucks. Here's the thing. I think Jake sucks more with each movie that comes out. He gets a little bit better near the end of this movie, but like he does that in every movie. He gets a bit better at the end of the movie, and then next movie all of a sudden he's shit again.
I think there's a bit of it where it's just like, it's just about being like a dad, and he doesn't really know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah, I think he's just a bad dad. He's an okay father, but he's a bad dad. And kind of a shitty husband at this point. But anyway,
bad.
I think I have faith that by the end of the franchise he'll be like a decent guy. It's just like he has a lot of shit to get to like.
I used to be a piece of shit.
Yeah. But I love the bit at the beginning where he like criticizes Neytiri for spending so much time praying, because she's like, everybody is out doing shit and like coping in their own ways. Neytiri literally just sits inside. She's got like black face paint on. She's got a like black veil on. She's literally just mourning all day and praying. And she has this moment where she kind of like breaks and is like, all I have is my faith. That's all I have. And he's like, you have this family, but this family is our fortress, blah, 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 saying his fucking Jake Sully shit. But I love that she's in that state, and then she has this bit where like she consistently wants Spider dead, which like don't we all? But then they fly. She has this shit where she falls and is like basically dead, gets dragged home. She's brought home. She gets healed, and she's like, where are my kids? Eventually all that shit happens. She goes like after Jake once he's captured, has like this fucking badass moment where she like gets those arrows that Jake made with the fucking bombs at the end of them. Yeah. And she just destroys this compound. But like there was a
point when Jake first showed her those arrows where she like takes it and then like tosses it on the ground, and Hillary's like, what the fuck? Like, because it could have blown them up.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. He probably should have told her to be more careful.
Yeah. That would have been funny if that just happened. She throws it on the ground. But yeah, and then she has this. Then she saves Jake and Spider, because Spider breaks out and does his shit. And Jake is the one that's like, you're right though, we do have to kill Spider, because something we haven't talked about, which maybe we'll touch on. We'll see. We're getting to the hour mark here, but Spider essentially, because he's a dumbass, doesn't grab his spare like oxygen. I mean,
to be fair to Spider, they were being attacked by the Ash people, and
but they also make a point to show him ignoring the fact that it's telling him he's running out of oxygen multiple times. Anyway, I mean, I do agree, but
or whatever.
But anyway, so he essentially is running out of air and he's dying, and then Loak's like, we got to get him to somewhere where we can heal him. And Kiri's like, I don't know why, but I need you to put him here. And there's a point where she says, listen to me, and you can like hear another voice coming through, and Loak's like, what the hell? Anyway, so through Awa, she like prays and essentially makes it so Spider can breathe Pandora air, and also grows a little fucking gross ass
disgusting
little flesh tail at the back of his head. But anyway, essentially making him some hybrid but Jake's worry is if the humans find out that there is a way to potentially reverse engineer that and make everybody able to like connect, then they're never going to stop coming to Pandora.
Which is like, incredibly interesting.
Yeah, I love that. That's why I was like, he is going to kill Spider, because like that is a horrible like potential future. Anyway, so he's like, I'm going to kill Spider. Neytiri kind of doesn't really say anything. She's just kind of like, I think because she's
she protests a little bit because she's like, he saved your life. Like, you can't kill him. Like, it's kind of, bad luck or whatever.
But she doesn't even say you can't kill him. I think she's just like, but he did save your life. You don't.
Yeah, like she
care about that.
A little bit.
Yeah, but then when he's like, I don't think it matters. I think that
when honestly, Jermaine Clement saved his life.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Spider did too. Jermaine Clement saved his life, and then later
Spider was
saved
there.
His life. Well, yeah, but they were gonna fucking shoot missiles at him, and then Spider jumped.
Yeah, but they didn't shoot missiles at him because they don't listen to ladies. Okay,
that is
and
true.
Also, they ran the tests on Spider already. They have all the data they need, pretty much.
Yeah.
You just go out and you just grab any like mycelium that you can and shove it in a human and see if it works.
Yeah. But
like, it's not like they're not barbaric.
No. Yeah. But anyway, Jake goes like brings Spider into the forest. He's gonna stab him in the neck. Spider's like, please don't do this, Jake. And then when he's like, shit, Jake's gonna do this, he just says, do you still love me? And Jake's like, yeah, of course. Which it was like, that was a bit of a heartbreaking scene of like Jake has to kill one of his not actual kids, but like you could see, especially at the beginning, Jake really like took like, Spider is my new son now that I've lost Nateum. Like that's kind of how where Jake's operating from. So he like clearly cares about Spider, but he doesn't end up killing him. Natiri is like washing off the face paint because she like dressed up, or she made herself look like one of the Ash people to sneak into the compound, whatever. But she's like washing it off, and they're not super clear about it. But the way I interpreted that was like she saw her reflection and saw that like skin color, like what you look like where you come from doesn't really matter. Like what matters is who you actually are, whatever. When she sees her reflection,
kind of change of faith.
Yeah, and was kind of like, oh shit, like I don't. This isn't the answer. So she chases after Jake. She doesn't get there in time, but luckily he makes the same decision. Anyway, like that's so interesting for Natiri to me.
Yeah,
like. What, and she like grabs Spider, this person that she hasn't even been able to look at for a long time, and is able to say like, I see you, because that's the first time that she's like really seeing Spider as a complex, valuable individual, which I found that whole thing so interesting.
That's why I was saying like I think I need to watch it again, because I think there is some really good. Knowing what the movie is now, I think there's some really good like little things to try and pull out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think we just both went in with like specific expectations.
Yes.
But what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, just kind of tying it to something earlier. There was also the scene where, because the last episode, another thing that you said last episode was, I said Natiri and Spider have this weird dynamic where like Natiri kind of wants Spider dead. That is like very like on the forefront in this one. It was more just hinted at in the last one, but I was like, and I think it's like there's this underlying almost like racism thing, and you were like, well, no, she hates him not because he's human, but because he's Quaritch's son, and she sees Quaritch as a demon, and he has demon blood in him. But in this one, like they really lean into like she's calling him a pink skin, she's calling him like all these things. Like there's a much more of a like a racial undertone in this one.
I don't think it like racial. I think it's more like species,
right? Sure, but like they're saying Pandora world slurs essentially. But like it's this thing of like
that's
Jake
like how I
like,
call dogs pound boys.
So there's a point where Natiri and Jake are kind of having this argument, and Jake is like, you hate Spider because he's human, and do you still hate parts of me because I was human at some point? Do you look at our kids?
That's an incredibly interesting thing.
Yeah, and he's like, do you look at our kids, and every time they do something that's not quite right, do you think that's the human in them, and you like have disdain for that? And there's a moment where she like really thinks about it. She's like, yeah, all of that is true. And I think that kind of causes her, like forces her to reflect a little bit. She doesn't fully get over it till later, obviously, but I think like Jake was doing that as a bit of like an aggressive pushing thing, but I do think it really like opened up this thought process for Natiri, where she was like, I need to examine my own prejudices. Like that's the thing. That's like what I was saying before. All of that is so interesting, and I'm so interested in, but it's all linked to Spider.
Yeah.
And it's like,
yeah,
I don't know.
And I don't think it helps him that all of the performances, like kind of Sam Worthington too. I know he's kind of brushed under the rug in a lot of these movies, but like all of the performances are very good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got this, a kid who is not an Oscar-nominated or veteran actor or a movie star who's been in movies since the 1980s, or
he also just stands out obviously because he's the only little human guy running around beside all these Na'vi. So like, he stands out already. So for him to be kind of an underbaked, slightly annoying character, obviously it's just going to be even more apparent. So
I think we should spend a little time on Varang, who, I don't know if you know this, the actress's name, and, direct your attention to my screen, please, is Una Chaplin of the Chaplin family. Oh.
Whoa.
And as you can see...
Yeah.
I made this on Canva, related to Charlie Chaplin.
You can see it.
And as... Oh, I guess they're flipped there. But as you can tell, if you put the mustache on her...
Okay, yeah.
They look quite similar.
Sure.
Do you see in the eyes? The eyes?
Can you just use your hands to give her a little hat? Just use your hands?
No.
Like, just do, like, maybe, like...
I can't go in front of it.
Other side of the screen.
It's also flipped, too.
There it is! That's a good...
Hold on, let me... look at this. Hold on. Now you're going to see how much of a dog I am in Canva.
Whoa! Dude, this is... Whoa! For audio listeners, he's taking Charlie Chaplin's hat and putting it on... What's her first name?
Well, Una
Chaplin. That's good, man.
Look at me. I'm a Canva dog, bro.
That's good. You're a Canva dog. Woof, woof, woof. But she's very good.
She's incredible. And I think the character is one of the best additions that we've had to the franchise ever.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, other additions would include the kids. Sorry, just me putting the shirt on him.
Sure.
See, look, same chin, too.
Yeah.
See how that perfectly matches?
Yeah.
Hold on, let me scale it down a little bit. Oh.
This is why you got to be watching the video version of these pods.
Yeah. Look, that's crazy. It's the exact same person.
It's literally the same person, the same guy.
Oh, there's my notes. Avatar Wikipedia. Also, I realized that I'm not recording with the Pandora background in the that's in the Discord call.
It's just
so
in the Discord.
Just blue.
Well, then glad I didn't acknowledge it.
Yeah, I'm just blue.
I mean, that's still good.
Anyway. Yeah, she's by far probably the most interesting character that's been added, because even Way of Water focuses very much on the Sullys.
Yeah.
So, like, the Metkaina people, there's some interesting stuff. I think, honestly, the most interesting thing in Way of Water is the Talcun.
Yeah.
But in this one, like, Varang and that whole clan, learning about how they were followers of Awa, but then stopped after their people
prayed
were...
to Awa and, like, she didn't answer.
Yeah. And there was, like, a volcano that erupted and destroyed their village. And, that they've kind of become a nihilistic sort of tribe with their own customs and own culture.
Well, yeah, it's almost like it is like Metkaina is very much like a like community culture, whereas like this seems very much like Varang started this cult.
Yeah.
And it, like, she talks about how she harnessed the power of the flame from the volcano and like was able to like recreate it. She like dips her hand in some sort of oil or sap and she's able to like have the fire on her fingers and shit. And it seems like her kind of like worldview is, well, if Awa's not going to save us and is just going to let us burn, then why don't we just burn it all?
Yeah. And I think I was trying to figure out like what, because we talked about the Ash people attacking the Wind Traders.
Yeah.
And I think I was like, well, they're trying to like rob them, but I don't think they necessarily are. I think they're just trying to like cause pain to other tribes.
I'm sure that they wanted to
tribes.
like pillage and like steal shit,
but I
but
think
like it seemed
was
like
more
mostly
like,
they just want to burn it down.
Yeah. And I like, again, I'm saying it, but I wish like we went deeper into the Ash people.
Me too.
Because I feel like there's a lot to uncover there, and the movie would have been well served if we just got a bit more of like Quaritch kind of figuring them out. And then also the name of the movie doesn't really live up to the sort of promises that you would assume, because Fire and Ash is
more like
not
concrete
very
and metal.
present. It's not very present in this movie.
Yeah.
There's some explosions.
The first half we get like plenty of that. The second half is less so.
And I think it's just like setting the battle with the Tulkun and those raiding ships, doing that whole thing again, I think is a bit of a disservice.
That's what I was going to say. It literally, the final, like there's other action scenes that are great in this movie, but like the final battle is like almost, not entirely, but almost exactly the final battle of Way of Water. In setting, in characters and where they are, in conflicts, in like Quaritch is like beaten, but then ultimately survives kind of because of a connection to Spider. Like it's a lot of that is the same, which made it feel not very satisfying.
I think there's probably like a really good 5-hour cut of these two movies together.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was kind of saying if like I don't know if they had enough between Way of Water and the fourth film, but I don't think that they could have put what they needed in here just into those two. Like I feel like it needed to be a middle movie, but like it could have probably like I agree with what you're saying if like this could have been put with Way of Water, but then I think it would have kind of muddied what Way of Water is, because I think that's so cohesive.
I think it's just like the focus, in my opinion, seems off. Which we're talking a lot of negatives about this movie. I think we both generally liked it. I gave it like a 3.5 on my Letterboxd.
I think I gave it like a 3.
It's a 3.7 on Letterboxd right now, which is a pretty good rating.
Yeah.
People are generally positive about the movie. Like there's some people obviously that don't like it.
Yeah.
But
I think if you don't like the first two Avatar, you're going to think this movie's horrendous. But like I liked the first two, or I really enjoyed the first two. I was fine on this one. Like I gave the other two 4 stars each. I gave this one a 3. That just kind of feels right to me, where it's like it's a bit of a step down. It's a little more muddy. It feels a little longer than the others feel long. But like ultimately there's still some good stuff in there, and I'm excited to see what comes next.
Yeah, I think it's I think opinion could change after a fourth movie.
Mm-hmm.
But right now I'm kind of sitting at and then this might be a good way for us to segue into the rankings.
Sure.
I'm kind of sitting at Avatar 1 is my favorite. Just feels like fully complete. Honestly, didn't like, I like Way of Water, but it is such the first Avatar is such like a great little object that it could have survived on its own. Then Way of Water, and then this.
Yeah. Which unfortunately trajectory is they're getting worse as they go, but for me this is third to me.
Yeah.
I think it's worse than the other two.
Which one do you like? You like Way of Water more? Or?
That's the issue. I think pretty consistently I've liked Way of Water more. I do think that there's a lot more in Way of Water that I like. But like I've been thinking about it, maybe I need to rewatch it again. But like I do think, like you're saying, the first one is a lot more complete. It is like almost full focus on Pandora and the Na'vi. Whereas even Way of Water gets into fucking ships and guns, which isn't horrible by itself, but Way of Water, there's a lot of, I don't know. I think just to be a little bit different, because I'm torn, I'll probably say I like Way of Water more, and Avatar 1 second. But those two are very close, and then I'd say there's a bit of a gap, and then this movie.
Yeah, this is a lower tier. And then, I don't know, is there anything else you'd like to touch on? I feel like we hit most of the stuff. Again, this is like a massive movie, so... Yeah,
we're going to miss a lot. The one thing we didn't really touch on too much is that there's like a meeting of the elders of the Tolkien, and they like decide that Payakan is not...
How did they get piercings?
I don't know.
Who's doing
They're smart. They're smart beings, man. I don't know.
Like, they don't have hands.
They could fucking fin slap it in. I don't know.
When I go to Claire's to get my earrings done,
and a whale is here.
Yeah, I'm not feeling too confident, but I still let him do
it. That's fair. Well, actually, maybe the Met Kaina did it, because they do have a deep connection.
That's what I was
Met Kaina.
thinking, but I was like, it's so big. Some of these, like, they're so literally big. Like bigger than the Met Kaina people. So anyway.
But yeah, so
cool.
the Met Kaina elders essentially like meet to decide whether Payakan will be exiled again or whether he's earned his spot back. And essentially they decide that he's still exiled, not because of the violence that he did, because he did save a bunch of people, which Loak stands up and says, but like they banish him because he's being a bad influence on the young Met Kaina and the young Tolkien, and that it's like influencing them to change their ways. So he's banished. Loak spends most of the movie trying to find him, which we don't see most of, which is why he's like barely fucking
which is
there.
Pretty disappointing, honestly.
Yeah, and then does find him. It turns out Payakan went back to like one of his to find his clan, and there was only one surviving one because they were all killed by the humans. And the one surviving one is blinded and like in horrible shape. I think made Hillary cry. Lots of actually I'll say this after, but anyway, eventually Payakan comes back with Loak, and then also the Met Kaina girl and two boys and their Tolkien, and they all essentially say if Payakan is exiled, we're all exiled, which gives Loak
their case.
Yeah, which gives Loak room to speak, and he's essentially like, we need to change, like, I know that this is tradition, this is the way that the Tolkien have been, you need to change your ways, or else, like, you will die en masse. And then the Tolkien come and help in the end, which was cool. But, oh, that's good. What the hell is that? Anyway, that was crazy. But what I was going to say was... I forget. You like interrupted that and said something, and then I said I'll get to that in a second.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that part is interesting. The Tolkien dialogue felt a little rough.
Yeah, because it's all just like fucking reverberation sounds, and then we get some subtitles. The subtitle dialogue is like, ugh. It's like pretty bad. Like bare bones bad. But what I was going to say was there is like this movie did feel a little bit like it was almost like a grief and suffering porn, where like there's a lot of animal deaths. There's a lot of like being captive and not necessarily tortured, but like put through like emotional torture a lot of the time. There's a lot of suffering. There's a lot of like pain happening, which is kind of like there is that throughout all the movies, but it just felt like a lot in this movie. There's so much of that, which maybe I need to see it again. Maybe it's not as much as I remember, but anyway, we ranked them.
I think it's just the realities of war.
That's true. That's the thing. Even with my hate of the guns and shit, because like I was like I wanted like Quaritch to go to the Fire and Ash people and like work with them, use them to get to the Sullys. But instead he just gave them guns. And like, even though I don't like that, the truth of it is like, that is very like settler colonial, like themes. Like it's pretty clear what the messaging is on that.
I heard this on another podcast, and I think it's interesting. Just, give you something to think about. There are, and this was on Blank Check, if anyone's also a listener
of course.
There are 3 laws of Awa followed by the Na'vi. And it is, you shall not set stone upon stone, so you shouldn't build anything that doesn't kind of naturally occur.
Mm-hmm.
Neither use the turning wheel, so don't use wheels, like kind of wipes out the car thing. Use the paths that nature gives you and like the animals and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And don't use the metals from the ground, which is pretty obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the Ash people deciding to choose guns over the way of the Na'vi is kind of them. It's like another part of them
rejecting Awa, yeah.
Yeah. And the thing about not setting stone upon stone, like I feel like the Metkayina, like everyone kind of builds their own environment, but I guess it's depending on how
I assume
how
the
much
don't
it is.
set stone upon stone means like don't build a brick house. Like that's more what it's saying. Like the original Na'vi, they're living in a tree. The Metkayina, they're like living on the water, like on fish nets and shit. That they like wove together. Like obviously the air traders built stuff. They have big blimps. But like it's all natural. Like there's a point where Jake was falling down the wing and he gets his knife and goes down it, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's like an organic wing. Like there's veins and shit in it.
Yeah. Which, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough, I guess. But I think that's just guns. Movies are generally more interesting when there are less guns, in my opinion. But
the reason for the guns being in here is interesting.
Yeah.
It's just, I think I just made the connection to like Hunger Games, Harry Potter, because that's something I've noticed in other franchises of we're getting near the end. Let's kind of dumb it down by adding guns.
Action. And,
so like I just noticed that, but I do think the reason for the guns being there is interesting. It's just when there's like 40 minutes of like and like I was just like, okay, I'd rather. That's why Natiri is goated. She's only using her fucking bow. Yeah. Anyway, I'm down to wrap it up here unless you've got more.
It's more just like I think the franchise goes on with James Cameron at the helm. I'm not too worried about how much money it's going to make. I think it'll do fine, probably in the 1.5, 1.6 billion range,
which is about what we guessed.
Yeah. I don't think it's as big as Way of Water. No, I do think there's a bit of a length thing that is creeping into these movies where it's like 4 doesn't have to be short.
No.
But it's probably got to be closer to 2:45 than 3:20.
Yeah.
Just because once you get above the 3-hour mark, I think that is just like people get turned off.
Well, it's kind of what you've mentioned this with previous ones, and you specifically mentioned it when we left the theater for this one. There's just a lot of scenes where we just kind of sit. And we just kind of like sit in the scene. We mentioned it actually with the Jaden Smith, Jackie Chan Karate Kid, where it's like, there's a lot of scenes where like we just stay on a shot for 2-3 seconds longer than we probably need to. Like there's a lot of that.
And that can work in some movies.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes you do need to sit in the scene, but it's like they're doing it like all the time. So I feel like this movie's 3 minutes 20. You definitely could have shaved 20 minutes off of this movie.
There is other shit in this where it's like Loak going to kill himself, and you're like,
yeah,
I get it, but also that's more interesting if he is then like one of the main characters and he's struggling with this sort of stuff, and then that's kind of at the end, not in the first 5 minutes, and you're like, okay, he's not going to kill himself in the first 5 minutes of the fucking movie.
Yeah,
like.
Which I'm pretty sure that happens after Jake essentially straight up says it's Loak's fault that Neteyam's dead. Which like kind of goes to my Jake is a bad dad thing. Which like
which is it's crazy work.
It's true. But like
crazy
that he almost killed himself because of his anyway. But luckily he's got good friends.
They've shot like 50-60% of the fourth Avatar.
All right.
I don't see them canceling it. Avatar 5 is maybe the one that doesn't happen. But honestly,
here's the thing. If there's 5 total and they've done 4, do the 5th, man.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
anyway.
I don't think it'll get divergented.
No.
Where they just never finish it. But which, I don't know. That's crazy that they never actually finished that. But
yeah.
I think this movie is generally good.
Mm-hmm.
Parts of it are better than almost any blockbuster I've seen in the last like couple of years.
Yep.
And then there's just parts that I rub on a little bit, and maybe after a couple watches,
yeah,
I won't rub on, or I'll rub on harder, honestly.
Well, you're always rubbing on, so I do feel like this movie kind of takes the weaknesses of the previous 2 films and kind of just exacerbates them a little bit. It's still got a lot of the strengths that the other 2 films have, but I just think like length, some dialogue, some like editing, some like character choice.
It is
like,
a little choppy at points.
Yeah, like
and
there's
like
just
4 or 5 fades to black.
Yeah.
Like,
which the other films did too a little bit, but it just feels like anyway.
Well, in this one, it's like, and we're fading to black again, and we're fading to black. Like especially near the end, I was kind of like, guys, just finish it, finish the scene.
Yeah.
Or like there are some other things where it's like when they're escaping from the city, they all get on the Banshee or whatever. And then you're like, okay, now they have to fight their way out because people are coming on them. And then it just cuts to them. Okay. Cuts to them just out. They've made it out. And I was like, okay, that's a bit of a missed opportunity there. But
yeah. So
anyway,
I still enjoyed it, but I think that there's some shit they can clean up for the next 2. But
yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. Thank you everybody for listening or watching.
It's better if you watch. I did that crazy bit with
you did that crazy Charlie Chaplin shit. Thank you everybody. Hope everyone has a Merry Christmas and a Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. And we look forward to the next one. I don't know what our next movie is. I think we're doing another couple wild cards, and then maybe a yearly wrap up.
Let me take a look.
You are sharing your screen still, just so you know. You are opening. Be careful not to share your fucking email, man.
Hey, cut that out. It's fine.
Yeah,
we're doing a 2025 wrap up, and then we've got, which is kind of like best of the years kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just general things you liked. Could be movies, could be music, could be video games. I've recently been playing Dispatch recently.
Dude, I got that. Olivia got me that for Christmas. What?
Whoa.
One sec. Check out this sick-ass coupon she made.
Oh, that's that's kind of cute.
1 Dispatch, please. And it says console of choice. Obvi, the PS5.
Wow.
I got to get those trophies, man.
Let's talk about it next week.
Yeah. Well, I probably won't play the whole game. Next week is
technically supposed to be now, but
oh, well, yeah.
I mean, it's a choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
So we can talk about the adventures that we chose.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm probably not going to have played the game by next week.
At all?
I don't know.
You're a fake gamer. Man.
I'm also playing other games.
Your PS Portable.
I was about to go, I fucking hate you.
Still said
but that's not true. Dude, I think you've called my PlayStation Vita my PS Portable and my PlayStation Portable my PS Portable.
I don't care.
Yeah, I know. That's the issue.
Get to Steam like the real gamers do.
I have Steam.
Year in review wrap up, and then we're each picking a little movie, which I don't know. I guess we got to figure that out. I haven't even thought about that for a single second. But yours is first, so you have to pick yours.
No, please. Thanks, everybody. Love you. Bye.